My Blender skills have gotten significantly better over time, but they're still lacking quite a bit. I managed to at least figure out a way to get some type of posing set up for a character I want to build from Yuta Macross, this time being the dark version of Mikamo. And to do that, the particular model I have of her has the actual animations for that song actually tied to her. So all I had to do was export the model, import the model into Blender, and as you can see by a timeline right here and the pose you see right here, I have the ability to find a pose I actually want to use for Mikamo, or the dark version of Mikamo. And this is the pose I decided to choose. So I already exported it and whatnot. And technically speaking, the model is more or less ready to put together and whatnot. But there are a few other little things I do have to do to the model to where it'll make building her significantly easier. And let me show you what I'm talking about. Apparently, I did not want to save the option for, no, it did not. Give me a second, close that out. There we go. So the first issue I'm going to run into is the arms right here where they bend. As you can see, the meshes don't make a nice clean seam, which is completely fine for video games, but when you're trying to convert a 3D model to real life, I can't have the mesh doing this. I need to figure out how to cut this mesh at this connection point where both the upper and upper and lower sections are meeting. Because if I went to go and build her as is right now, I'll have to contend with, give me a second, this big old piece right here. And I know for a fact I can get this to go away. I just gotta figure out how exactly to cut the mesh to make it to where it's a nice little seam right here instead of what it currently is right here. And that is actually done for quite a few of my models in the past by the guy that normally does these models for me. If I go to Shirley here, you can see that her arm right here, it both connects right here, but as you can see, that seam, it has, or you can see it has a nice little seam right here compared to what Mikamo has right here. Basically, I need to do this, but for Mikamo, and I don't know how to do that. So that's issue number one I gotta figure out. Issue number two is cutting the eyes to fit the socket of her face. So what I mean by that is, give me a second, let me do this, this. So as you can see, if I select her eyes have this extra bit around it, which I don't need. But if I go to select the body, when I go to attach the body more or less is where it needs, or the eyes fit in the body perfectly, but again, I have this extra bit of mesh that's unnecessary. So I need to figure out how to remove this unnecessary mesh, so when I go to actually build the body and whatnot, or build out her face and whatnot, and go to attach the eyes, I can just literally just slide the eyes into place instead of having to manually cut out all this extra mesh. And again, just like with the give me a second. Just like with the arms, I know that can be done. Again, though, it's outside my knowledge, so I don't know how to do it. And again, if I bring in Shirley here, again, if I do the same thing with her eyes have already been pre-cut. So if I bring in her face, give me a second, which one's the face? I believe it's this right here. The eyes mesh perfectly with the face. There's no extra bit attached to the eyes. They just mesh perfectly. So I need to do that with Mikamo here. Once I get the arms properly situated and the eyes properly situated, I can actually go through and actually build her out and whatnot. And I'm hoping with me posting this on my YouTube video and posting this to some other places that work with Blender, someone can actually teach me how to do those two things. Because at the very least, I have a way to make some cheeky poses, but not do any custom posing yet. Now, probably if I really wanted to get in depth with it, I could probably do a custom pose with the bones that are already pre-attached to the model. But for what I want to do and how simple I want it for right now, having already pre-made poses from the songs that the models are tied to is more than what I need. And since I already have everything to the way I want, I can actually just use this pose right here and just finish everything up in Blender. Because if I go to here and actually just move these out of the way, because these are ones I actually do want to save for now. If I reopen Blender, it's this right here. You can see that now she just opens up as just the model herself. So I can do all the extra editing I need to do to the model without all the bones and whatnot being in the way. So again, hopefully someone can come by and actually explain to me, or at least show me how I need to do this. That way so I can actually do this all on my own. But with that said, again, hopefully someone can help me out.